What up, y'all? It's your girl Candy J for another episode of Candyology. You know, where we talk about love, sex, and relationships. And I definitely have a special guest today. Her name is Patricia, better known as Lady P. And we are going to be talking about the impact of a father. Now, you know, if you tuned in to talk with Q a couple of weeks ago, you know, he talks about how the absence of his father and him being, what do you call it, the product of a mistress. The product of being a mistress and how all of that his father would watch him from afar and he'll see him, you know, at the playground or something, or he would see him at the high school graduation, but never really talk to him. Yeah. And then when he finally passed away, you know, he got a chance to talk to him on his deathbed, but that was about it. So it was kind of interesting how, you know, his absence of a father impacted him and knowing those little nuggets because his mom never really talked to him about him being the product of a mistress situation.
That's entanglement.
That's more than an entanglement because he had also had more brothers and sisters that he knew about as well.
From his father?
And so they all kind of came out at the funeral.
So his mom only had one. Oh, so
his mom had 1, 2, 3, but he was the baby. No, he was the oldest. So everybody else really didn't know about
his situation.
Right? Because she didn't really talk about it. So
that's interesting.
That's kind of a different, and so he was missing, although he had his uncles, he was missing that father that he needed in certain situations. So, you know, the lack of a father, the presence of a father, is what we're about to talk about for a second. Lady P, tell them a little bit about you.
I am, as they call me here at KMWI Media, Lady P. Not sure where that came from, but someone...
Did you start it?
No.
Who started it?
I have no... Oh, Rashad.
Oh,
yeah. Rashad from Trouble on Air. That's right. He started calling me Lady P, which was kind of funny because when emails first came out, my email was Lady Pat. So it kind of fit, and I was like, okay. But it just picked up, and everyone started calling me Lady P. So Lady P is here. But my background, you want my background story? My background story. Where do you want me to start?
Child.
Where do you want me to start?
Okay, so where were you born, girl? That's an anomaly.
Okay. I was born and lived quite a bit of my life in Germany. I was born in Frankfurt, Germany, which it you know that in itself was different because for a while I didn't even know I was black. It's not like I didn't know. My parents didn't discuss color. I didn't see color at school. So I didn't even know that part of it. And by growing up on a military base, I mean, our connection was the military. Our connection was traveling, and no one told me any different.
I mean, that's a whole nother oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Because we can get into colorism and all kinds.
Exactly. That one. and you know, my parents didn't teach pro-black. They didn't teach, you have to do this, you have to do that. I didn't see that. I didn't know about that.
Mine didn't either.
Yeah, so I'm here. I've learned. I'm still learning. Sometimes I'm still surprised by some things I see. Yeah, so I'm still learning. I'm still
Absolutely.
learning. But what else you need to know? What else do you need to know? Because growing up, I mean, for me, growing up in Germany was different because I wasn't around family. So I didn't have family, and I didn't know some things. I didn't know what was right, what was wrong. Some things I learned as I got older that they were wrong. And being segregated and removed from so many things, you realize, is this even right or is this wrong? You know? And there was no one there to talk to about it, you know?
So, did you grow up with both parents?
I grew up with both parents, and I had a brother.
Who was in the military?
My dad was in the military. I grew up with both. My mom, my mom was kind of interesting. She wasn't the breadwinner, but she was the breadwinner. Which was, she started her own, every time we moved, she would start her own business.
Oh.
So,
Entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes, very much so. She would start her own she would start her own daycare, or she would start some other kind of business, but her big money maker was a daycare. So
is that how we became a teacher later?
I don't know. I have no idea. But you know, it's funny, she had me watching all those kids. I was the one coordinating everything and playing school. So maybe so.
If y'all don't know, Lady P has a show called Teachers Are Talking, and she's a phenomenal teacher.
Well, thank you.
But I'm sure that this is where that stems from.
You know what? Probably so, because I did play teacher a lot.
Because was you bossing these kids around?
No, you know what? I didn't really boss them. I always had that face. Go sit down.
Get your life together.
Yes, we're not doing this today. And they listen. I'm not sure why, because some were older than me, but they listen.
Of course they did.
So, you know, and my father, my mother, like I said, if we got in the base and she got her things together, she was pretty much the breadwinner, because she kept those kids day and night, literally. If they left and they were single parents, she would keep them for months, 2, 3, 6 months. We had one kid that stayed with us for a year.
Wow.
Because their parent went to Korea. And so we started with that, and then my dad was there, but my dad, he wasn't a father that spent time with us or a father that did a lot of things with us. He was there, but he wasn't there. I mean, it started off rough because he had a lot of girlfriends.
Oh, wait a hold on. Excuse me. So he was married to Mama.
He was married to Mama.
But he had some girlfriends.
He had girlfriends.
These were girlfriends from the base or girlfriends outside Germany? I mean,
all kinds. All kinds. So there were times that there was a time we had to get shipped back to the States. I mean, because he couldn't take care of us and the girlfriend. There were times that we had to go stay with my grandmother, and there were times that we stayed hungry. We were hungry, and we were hustling. Well, my mom was hustling. I won't say she went on the streets, nothing like that, but she was dependent on her sisters, or she was dependent on someone else to help us out.
So let me make sure that I hear what you're saying correctly. You're saying to me that he chose his girlfriends over his family. That's what I'm hearing you say.
And that's to this day.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty much to this day. We haven't spoken in a few years.
Wow.
Good 8 years we haven't spoken, because he chose a wife over the family.
Interesting.
So that's been going on for
How many years is that, Patricia?
40 more years. Why go ahead?
But I know that there are more than one reasons why you may not want to talk to your father either.
There was other things going on. You know, every household you see, you think is great, but that doesn't mean it's great. Um, and you see things, you may look from the outside and say, oh gosh, this is a great family. I mean, the times you would see us together, but there was other things going on in the house that um, that was not what people would say a healthy household. Um, there was abuse. I mean, there was physical abuse, there was sexual abuse, there was mental abuse, there was emotional abuse. Every abuse you could pretty much think of, it was happening in our house. Whether it was towards me, whether it was towards my mom, it was happening in our house. Whether it was happening towards a cousin that would come, every abuse was happening in our household.
So I think you just mentioned every type of abuse.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen my mom. I've seen my mom and dad get into arguments, stupid stuff, and they were fighting. And then I would see him listening to him call her stupid, and telling her she gets out, she's dumb, this and that. I saw that, and I remember all of that. And then, but that didn't stick in my mind because my mom always practiced, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you can do whatever you want to do. You do not have to settle, because she got married at 16. And that was like an arranged marriage.
And how old was she? 16. I mean, I'm sorry, how old was he?
23.
Oh, wow. Oh, wait, go back. Arranged marriage?
Kind of arranged. Well, as soon as my dad was going in the military, he wanted to marry my mom. And her mom at 16, you have to get a permission. She was like, yes, but that was to get my mom out of the little small country town that she was in. So, yeah, she left and went straight to Germany at 16. And he promised my grandmother that she would finish school and this and that, and my mom, she said she never wanted kids. She never wanted kids.
What?
She never wanted.
I can't tell, Mama.
And she used to tease us all that, y'all adopted. Y'all adopted. But we didn't take her serious, whatever, right. Mama. I mean, my brother did, and then she finally, okay, I can't tell him that. But he was like, he cried, but yeah, y'all adopted. Y'all not my kids. I don't know where y'all came from. Or I picked y'all up in the basket. But we her kids. We look just like her.
Okay, so were they in a relationship when all of this happened? Or, I mean, when he was like, okay, let me go to Germany. I'm going to take you with me. They were already in a relationship?
The funny part about that is my mom later found out once she got to Germany, one of her friends sent her a clipping that he was engaged to somebody else. He was already engaged and she was supposed to go. So they didn't really date long. He would come by my grandmother's house and see my mom, but it wasn't really like that. Yeah, it wasn't that serious. He was engaged to someone else.
What was he doing with his life, Patricia?
And this is the crazy part. I met her years later. I met her maybe, right? She's the one who got me into teaching because she was a teacher. Yes.
Wait.
She got me into teaching. She got over all of her hurt. Stories more than what you thought. She got me into teaching. And this was maybe 15 years ago, and she said, well, she was a teacher.
Wow.
She had been a teacher for many, many, many years. And she said, do you want to teach? And I was like, yeah. She was like, well, I'll help you get into teaching. And I said, okay. She lived up the street from where I lived in Arlington.
Shut the front door, the back, and
I would see her all the time at Walmart. And then my dad called himself rekindling with her, and he introduced, and we were like, I know you, and I know you. And we come to find out we would see each other at Walmart all the time.
Oh, my
We
God.
have been living in the same community for years.
Wow.
Yeah. And she told me the story. She said, yeah, we were engaged. She said, I found out later he was married and that the wife was in Germany. She said, that was your mom. She said, I didn't know. He had left her here. She said the wedding was set. She had did everything.
So wait, he left her high and dry.
High and dry.
No word, no
word,
nothing.
no nothing.
And she rekindled with him?
This is 40 years later. Because I would say this, my father is a good talker. He is a
sweet talker.
Narcissist talker. He is good at that. Good at that. He can take sugar out of sugar. If you can take sugar out of sugar, he can do it. He can talk you into it, and you're like, yeah, that maybe that sounds right. Maybe maybe that is right. Maybe I'm not that person, or maybe I'm not.
And maybe that's not what really happened.
Right. The sky really is gray. Or purple.
Right.
The sky's really purple.
And the raindrops are pink.
The raindrops are pink.
Oh my God.
So he plays those psychological games on your mind, and you really think, yeah, maybe it is like that. Because you don't know any better. But he rekindled with her and then left her high and dry again and got married to somebody else. After the 40. Yeah.
Crazy.
But she still stays in touch with me. She still stays in touch.
Wait. He did it again?
He did it again. He did it again.
Wait a minute.
He did it again.
What? Okay. This story.
You thought it was
a lifetime movie right now.
It should. And these are the things I saw. I saw a father that did not respect women. I saw a father that did not understand the boundaries with women. All women, not just me, not just my mother, but all women. There was no respect for how you treat a woman. Or I didn't see that. I didn't know about that. How do you treat a woman? How am I supposed to be treated?
How did he treat your brother?
They didn't have a relationship. My brother, it was more of a competition. As my brother got older, it was more of two men, and you're the competition. Because my brother is he's closer than I am with my mom. They talk every day. I don't know a day they don't talk. Honestly, I can. If he's not talking, something's wrong. Go call the FBI. Call someone, because he's gonna find a way. If he's in another country, he is finding a way to talk to mom. I mean, because they're like this. I mean, he talks about every and anything with her. Stuff I wouldn't even talk to her about. And we pretty close. But yeah, I would say he's a mama's boy, but he's not a mama's boy. Right now, he think he is her daddy. So, for real. And she have to tell him, I'm your mama. What? Yeah. And his kids would say, Nana, isn't that your son? And she's like, yes. And they're like, well, why don't you? Yes, that's the one who says it. Nana, you need to tell him you the mama. And she's like, I am going to tell him I'm the mama. He knows I'm the mama, but he thinks he's her dad for real. But it's reverted because my brother's very, very protective he's protective of both of us, actually. Wow. But my mom, you can lose life. You will lose life if you mess with.
But wasn't he in the military? No, he was a police officer.
Police officer.
Yeah, he was a police officer.
Yeah, for years. But yeah, and so for him, he always saw protect mom, and he doesn't remember our childhood. He blanks everything out. Everything. If you ask him, do you remember when we were in such and such? Do you remember such a? He doesn't remember anything.
Trauma.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, the only thing he really remembers is he broke his wrist, and I think the only reason why he remembers is because it bothers him now. He has pins all the way through, and he doesn't really have a wrist. But that's the only thing. Sometimes it bothers him. And he broke his ankle. He remembers that. The other stuff, like anything else, it's very hazy. He's like, I don't really remember. He doesn't remember.
So was he physically or emotionally abusive to him as well?
No.
Huh.
He just ignored him.
That's a form of abuse
Yeah,
too.
he ignored him, or he would try to buck him in his own way. It was as if I'll put fear in you, and that was his thing. But it wasn't. It wasn't words. It was a presence. And they actually got into it at the job. They worked together, and they got into it at the job.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, we didn't know that until later on.
Wait
But this was my brother stood up to him and said, "You would not treat
How did
me."
they wind up working together?
Well, my brother started working. He was like 15, 14. 14, because that's my mom's golden age, that you will work in this house. I am not buying you these expensive clothes or shoes. You will have a job. So yeah, he was 14, and so my mom told my dad to take him to work with him, and find something for him to do because he needs to work. And she did me the same way. She hustled me a job, but so they worked together until he went to college. Yeah. And well, even when he came back from college, but when he was in high school, he stood up to him. He finally told us this later on, years later. And he said that he was talking down to him and calling him different names and stuff and trying to put fear in him. And he said he stood up to him and told him, "Hey, if you want to fight, let's go." He said, "I'm ready to take you on now. Let's go." Wow. He said he threw everything down. He went up to him. He said, and he was getting ready to go at it. And he said he walked away, but he didn't mess with him after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I can't.
But that that the effect of not having that father on him, and my mom, she said one reason she stayed was because she thinks even if it's a sorry male specimen, but she thought just having that presence in the house would be better than not having one at all for a boy. And I guess because part of it was because we were on a military base, and a lot of it we got more molding and shaping from the neighbors and the people around us.
Having the structure.
Right, right, and that structure, which that's what we're used to. That's what we have, where we want.
Right.
But she knew if she came back home, we would be in a small town with one flashing red light, with a general store.
What town was this?
Itasca, Texas.
Itasca?
Itasca.
Itasca?
Itasca.
Where the hell is Itasca?
You pass it when you're going to Waco. Real quick. You pass it real quick going to Waco.
What?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and she knew coming back here, we wouldn't get the education, we wouldn't get the world. Because we saw the world. Literally, we saw the world. Every part we've been to every state, whether we lived there, whether we drove through there. I mean, even if we lived there for 6 months, we still lived there, y'all. We saw every state. We've been to several countries, and we would not have gotten that experience, if we didn't. But it was just enduring what we had to endure while we was there. She was married for 30 years, 30 plus years. Mm-hmm. Yep. 30 plus years. And then she told me one day, she said, "Patricia, this is it. I can't do it anymore." She's like, "I'm done." She said, "He doesn't love me." She said, "He's never loved me." She said, "And honestly, I don't think I love him. I don't know what love is."
Was he physically abusive to her?
Mm-hmm. They got in fights. Literally.
Like fist fights?
Yes. This scar right here that I have on my face, that's from me running to break them up from fighting. And I ran into a bed pole. And because he started screaming and hollering, and he told me, "Go get my cigarettes." And they were still arguing, so I knew I had to hurry. So I was running to make sure my mom was okay, and I ran to a bedpole, and it split wide open.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So what was his reaction in response to that?
I don't know, girl. I was out for days.
So you don't even remember?
I don't know. I have no idea, because it knocked me flat out. When I woke up, I just remember seeing white lights. And they said I had been out. I was out.
For days, you said?
I was out, yeah. Wow. Because they didn't stitch me up because of black skin. So they had to put tape on it to hold it because they didn't want it to keloid. I tell you, those German doctors were pretty good. They were real good. Real good. I had all kind of surgeries over there. And American doctors didn't even know it. Serious. Heart surgery, lung surgery, kidneys, because I was born sick.
See, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So, my mom was addicted to soda, Coke. Germany, they still put real Coke in it. At that time, real Coke was still in it. Now, I don't know if my dad knew or not. I can't say. I wouldn't put it past him. Would not put it past him. But she was addicted to it. And so I was born addicted, and she said I was the whitest baby with freckles that she's ever seen in her life. Yeah, she was like, my dad didn't believe I was his because I had freckles and I was white. I was like, Kenny White. I was. And I had freckles and red hair. My hair used to turn red every summer. Yeah.
Listen, y'all, if y'all have never seen Kenny before, go to KMD. you'll understand this reference that has me looking like, wait, what?
She'll tell you. Yeah. And so I was in the hospital, and my mom said my dad was not there. He was not there when I was born. And he was not, she said she was scared to death because she was in the hospital by herself.
In Germany?
In Germany.
By herself?
He was with his other woman.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yes.
So.
But yeah, so it all, all of this in the womb and my mom always said, because the one good thing, I never had therapy, but my mom was my therapist. Mm-hmm. We were all each other's therapists. Like, my brother he listened. Some things my brother can't handle because he's very protective and he loves his girls. Mm-hmm. So there's some stuff he just like, said it once, that's all you need to say. Mm-hmm. Don't mention that again because I don't know if I can handle it. And there's everything else. My brother, he is in lockstep with us, but he listens. And then he gives it advice from a man's perspective, which I think that helped a lot as well. Even though he was young, he had a little bit of wisdom, a little bit. I'm not sure where it came from, but it came from somewhere. Even when I was in college, he would tell my mom, Mama, you need to call Trisha. Trisha out there in those streets. Trisha at the club. My mama is hunting me down, because at that time we didn't have cell phones. Mm-hmm. She would find a friend's house, and they would come and get me and say, hey, your mom's on the phone. Yes. And what you doing?
Mama need to work for the FBI then.
And sure enough, I was partying, but that was not my brother's business to tell.
Right.
But he knew. He always said, we're going to graduate from college together. Boy, please. We are X amount of years apart. We are not going to graduate. We did. Same school, same degree.
Shut up.
We did. I mean, he would always speak little things like that. He always would know stuff. That's why.
Like he might be a little bit prophetic.
He is. He is.
Okay.
Get it from my mama. We get that from my mama. Yeah, but he just knew stuff, and I mean, it would bother me at first. My mom, she would run with it. Oh, this is going on, and that's going on, and I mean it was, but still. But still. Yeah. So.
So you've mentioned emotional abuse, you've mentioned physical abuse, you also mentioned sexual abuse.
There was that. There was that. The sexual abuse part, that was, for me, it's almost as if nothing happened. Mm-hmm. I can't relive that feeling, because that's gone. Only thing I remember is the day it stopped.
But why does that stand out to you?
You really want to know?
Mm-hmm.
there was, it's so crazy. It doesn't even make sense, but it made sense to me. There was this Michael Jackson poster that I had, and he had on this yellow sweater. And I remember looking at him and I said, I don't ask me why I said this. I said, you saved me finally. Because I think it was the Beat It song. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was like, it's Beat It, it's over. It's over. And I knew it was over. It was over and no one else could stop it and it was done. And I guess that's why I love Michael Jackson so much. I just love some Michael Jackson.
So let's answer this question. So who was the abuse coming from?
It was coming from the person in the house. Mm-hmm. It wasn't my mother. Mm-hmm. And it was not my mother. Mm-hmm. And it was not my brother.
Right. So there's only one person left, y'all.
There's one person
so,
left.
You know, I'll say it, she won't say it, right?
I'm not saying
it. So this is called the impact of a who?
Father.
A father. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of one of the reasons why I asked her to be on my show. So with that, because you said you don't remember most things, right?
I do remember. I remember. Okay. I don't have the emotional attachment to it. Mm-hmm. I just remember, like I said, I remember the day everything stopped, but I don't have that emotional attachment of how. Now there's certain things that triggers me, like when I sleep in my bed, if I have my back turned. Mm-hmm. I may jump if someone walks in on me. Things like that, or sometimes, and I don't like people lying to me. And that comes from him because that was, my whole life was a lie. And everything that he did was a lie. And he like I said, he was narcissistic. And he would just say stuff just to blow you off. And then when you find out the truth, it's like, well, why'd you have to? And he would lie over small stuff. It's like, come on now, dude. And everything, well, you know what? I'm going to take that back. I won't take it back. But the lie part comes because I had to live a lie. Mm-hmm. And I refuse to keep living a lie for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to carry that burden of someone else who they want me to hold their story. I can't hold your what can we call it, deficiencies, and don't know what to call that. It's beyond deficiencies, but I had to carry that for so many years, and I don't want to live like that,
right?
Because that's a lot of weight to carry. That's not yours. That's somebody else's weight. But when they make you lie about this and lie about that and then put on a happy face in front of everybody because nothing's happening, everything's perfect.
And did he ever specifically tell you, oh, don't say this, don't say that, don't say this?
Manipulators say it in a way that doesn't say, don't say it.
Right.
They make it sound like it's your fault. Or they make it sound like it's wrong, but don't let nobody do this to you. What? That's some crazy shit.
Right.
You doing something, but you know that it's one of those situations, and I've ran into a lot of victims that suffered with that. And I'll say this though, he called himself healing himself at church. I didn't know what was going on. I saw this herd of people walking up to me. And I'm looking like, what is going on? He done went and told these folks what happened. These folks grabbed me. Oh, baby, we so sorry. And they praying over me. And I'm looking like, what happened?
How long ago was that?
In my 30s. In my 30s. He wanted to be redeemed and all this and that and blah, blah, blah. But you need to talk to me.
Right.
You never talked to me. And so we get up to the front of the church, all these folks in the business, and I'm looking like, now I gotta let go. Well, the good thing is I was able to let all that go. And I was able to confront him and talk to him about how I felt and the things I was carrying with me. And because at that time, I was working my way out of being very promiscuous. I was actually in a fasting.
So pause right there.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the result of?
That was the result.
Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of that had to do with being exposed too soon, too early. And I didn't know, and for me, I had no feelings. I had none. No emotional feelings. I could go from this person, that person, this person, that person, and not feel anything. And not think twice about it, because all I know is just to lay there.
Right. Which happens to a lot of victims.
Yes, you just know to lay there, and you don't have to say anything. It's not like you're getting anything out of it anyway.
Right.
And so, but that's how you associate the attraction of a man, because that's all you know. And so, moving from that, by the time this church thing all happened, I was in a fasting, and I have been in a fasting to remove all of this out of me. And I hadn't dated anyone or been with anyone. I took 10 years to get myself together. And it took that long to get all of that out. That,
what's the emotion?
I won't even say it was anger.
Was it sadness? Was it depression?
It was sadness. It was depression. It was sickness. It was some anger, and the anger was, why did I have to go through it? Why me? Who chose me to go through this? And even to this day, I will say this. Sometimes I feel like I'm living with that curse, because I haven't had kids. I've never been married. And I feel like that curse, his curse, resides with me. And then sometimes I wonder, well, how do I shake that curse off? Because a lot of times I still attract men like him. Not necessarily, well, it is a form of abuse, but men that broken. Yeah. Broken men, and men that have some of the same characteristics. Lying men, cheating men, abusive men. And then I say, is that still in me? How is that still in me? I fasted. I gave up sex. 10 years. Literally.
That's a long
I didn't
time.
even masturbate. I didn't do anything. And I'm thinking, God, what is it that I got to do to get rid of this demon that still resides with me?
Let me ask you this. Have you truly forgiven him?
I did forgive him. And I told him I forgave him. I forgave it because that's why I say, like, right now, I don't even have that emotional attachment of any of that. Honestly, I don't remember until people bring it up. And it's not that I just put it in the back of my mind. It's as that was then. That's over. That's done. I moved on. Life has moved on.
So let me ask you this, because you said something. Do you blame yourself in any capacity still?
I never blame myself.
Okay.
Well, I blame that no one saw me early enough. No one believed me.
So wait, let's talk about that. So did you speak up to your mom, to your brother, to anybody?
Well, my brother was too young to actually know what was going on. But I did speak up. And a lot of the women, they didn't believe me. So I got quiet. And then I started realizing I just got to handle this on my own. I just got to take whatever's happening. Because if the adults can't stop it or believe me, who else? Who will? If Granny won't believe you, Auntie won't believe you, who will believe you?
Right. So do you feel like, and I think this is a twofold question. Number one, do you feel like is that sometimes why you don't stand up for yourself immediately at times?
Well, now, a lot of times I don't like to argue because I saw that growing up. So I'm not going to argue. I don't stand up as quick as people think I should stand up because the first thing that's coming out is rage. And cussing.
Where does that rage come from?
That rage comes from someone trying to take advantage of me.
Uh-huh.
And I see it, and people think, oh, she's just weak. No, I'm looking at everything you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching every move. I'm already 10 steps ahead because I'm already planning. But if I do something right now, I'm going red.
Mm-hmm.
Give me time to calm down. Once I calm down, then we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But once I go red, that's it.
Right.
That's it. So, and then it angers me that people think, oh, she's so weak. I'm not weak. Please do not misinterpret my quietness for weakness. It's meekness.
Right.
And it's strength under pressure.
Right.
And having control over that strength. Because I've learned how to control that without having to take it out on you immediately.
But so that rage is still associated with everything, though.
The rage is still there. It can come out, and it only comes out if you keep pushing it, and you keep pushing it, and you keep pushing it. And I'll tell you, stop.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't believe me, I'm telling you what I'm about to do. Just stop.
So, and I said this was a twofold question. Do you feel like you have forgiven those people that did not listen, that did not hear you?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I never took it out on them. See, everything came out in the open because it wasn't just me. And it was multiple people that things were happening to.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just one abuser.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this came out, and once everybody knew what was going on, and everybody, let's put it this way, it was two sides of the family that had to see things.
Mm-hmm.
One side never saw it and still really kind of in shock. The other side that saw it, they still kind of brushed under the rug like, oh, okay. Because that illness and that sickness, it resides on that side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just kind of sweep everything under. It's like, okay, y'all can sweep it under all you want. It is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is. And the other side of my family, they're more compassionate. They're like, oh gosh, I can't believe. Chill out. It's all right. It's all right.
It's just because you're not at that stage anymore.
Right. I mean, but they don't understand everything I had to go through to get the filth off of me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my biggest thing is the filth. And feeling nasty. And then, because I did a lot of praying, I did a lot of meditating, and then having to see what was actually in me.
Mm.
And because I said, okay, show me what's in me. And then I could see all that same filth that was imparted in me was in me. And that's why I could do anything. That's why I could sleep with anybody. That's why it didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all I knew.
But there was a transfer of spirit.
Yeah, a transfer. There. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it took me a long time to realize that and to get out of that. And people don't understand that. And that's why I say today, I'm like, okay, God, all right. What was the point of all of this? What was the point? Because I believe there should be, whatever you go through, you should be able to use it to help someone else.
Right.
And
I mean, and whether you know it or not, right now you're helping so many people by telling your story, right?
Yeah. I mean, but it's there's so many things that people don't understand about going through so many different types of abuse.
So help them understand. What do they need to know?
Well, for one, if you see, everyone's different. But me personally, I can only speak on my behalf.
Right.
When people give me compliments, it depends on who it's coming from. A lot of times if it's coming from men, I don't really believe them until they prove it. Mm-hmm. And if they don't back it up, because I heard all that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't back it up, I'm just like, Negro, you just talking air, because that's all I'm used to. That's what I'm used to.
So what were some of the things that he would say that now is like, whatever, prove it.
You're pretty.
Uh-huh.
I know I'm pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But you're showing me that pretty means you can do whatever you want to me.
Mm-hmm.
My lips, my eyes, this, my fingers, my toes. I'm just like, well, now it's a point of, if that's the case, show me without sex.
Mm-hmm.
Why does that have to relate to sex?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a thing that bothers me a lot. I guess that's one of my
Triggers?
I guess so. That's one of my triggers. It took me a long time to learn what love is, and I don't think I'm still fully there.
Mm-hmm.
My mom kept telling me for years, she kept saying, Patricia, you don't know what love is. She said, baby girl, you don't know what love is. She said, I got to show you what love is. This woman, I lived in Oklahoma. She was in Texas. She went and took a picture of some dog in an encyclopedia. Sent me the picture in the mail, because we didn't have phones. Trisha, this, did you get it yet? Yeah. She expressed it. I think I got it the next day. She was like, this is gonna be your dog. This is what's gonna show you love. Mama, where you find this dog at? I already found a lady. She's in some old little rinky-dink town called Muskogee. She got some babies, and you can put them on layaway. What? She moved all the way up here. She came up here when this dog was ready, because she put the dog on layaway.
Oh, wow.
The dog got ready. We drove down there. It was snowing. It was cold. And we went and picked up this little furry white dog. And he was ornery, y'all. He was stubborn. I was like, I'm naming you Will, because if it's your will, you're going to do it. And he was moody. And I was like, oh my gosh. So my mom, she said, I'm staying here so we can make sure you get attached to this dog. Okay. But she was right. I had that dog for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
He turned out to be the little love of my life.
Wow.
Because he was just certain things he would do. Even him peeing in my shoe because he was mad that I was gone. I still loved him for that. Just one shoe, and he would drag that shoe to where, like, I would keep my house shoes in a certain place, or by my bed, or by the couch. He would drag that shoe that he peed in, one shoe now. I don't know how he aimed it right. He would drag it to where I would go in and make sure I put my foot in there, and then he would look at me, don't ever leave me. All right, mister. But I love that. When he passed away, that was one of the hardest days of my life. And I didn't know I could love someone like love. I can't say a someone. He turned into my kid, though.
Right.
My uncle tried to put him on my taxes. Because I lied to you. We were working that out. We were trying to figure out, how can we put Will Thomas on the taxes? How we going to get him a Social Security number?
Right.
But she was right. She was right. She said, and as I learned to love, and the reason why I say I haven't fully learned to love, because I have not fallen in love with a man.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to trust one, because like I said, the ones I keep attracting in, shit. It's like, come on. And so I don't know. I'm still waiting for my day. Maybe it won't happen. I don't know. If it don't happen, I'll just die knowing.
So I'm gonna roll all the way over that part.
Okay.
Because you are a deserving, beautiful, intelligent woman.
Well, thank
that
you.
I know her Boaz is out there somewhere, right?
He's somewhere.
I
got my little lantern. I'm weeding the field.
The light is on.
The light is on.
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yeah. I'm weed whacking in the fields, doing the work. I don't know.
But okay, so you talked about possibly not finding the love of your life, but what would that look like? What would he look like if he was to walk up to you right now? What qualities would he have right now that you would want?
My biggest thing is honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I told you, I had to live a lie for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I can't live the end of my days lying about a situation and making it look perfect. It's not perfect. Let's just be true about what it is. And we agreed to disagree, or agree about whatever it is, and not have to carry your burden, you know. That's my biggest thing. And trust, and knowing that I have security and I'm safe. That's my biggest thing. Because I haven't been safe at all. And I feel like I've been just kind of thrown out there, and I have to fend for myself. You know, and I'm tired of fighting. You know? Tired.
Because that other person should be your protector.
Exactly. And I haven't been protected. I mean, most of the time I find people, shit, they want me to protect them. Negro! Why am I running to the door? Go get that door! I got your back! Trust me, I'm picking it up at the back. If it's a broom, if it's a knife, a bat, I got all the weapons back here. I'm not gonna let them take you out. I mean, you might get a little hurt, but I'm not gonna let them take you out. And guess what? I'm gonna nurture you back to health. I'm gonna take you to. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get you back to health. But make sure I gotta know you got my back.
Right.
My front, back, all of it. And you're not gonna let anything happen to me. So I think that's what he looks like. He's my protector.
So you said there were some other things that people needed to understand, and we got off on a tangent.
People who've gone through abuse, I guess people don't understand why there are so many women that are hard and kind of misunderstood. And I think a lot of that comes from abuse that they've gone through, trauma that they haven't dealt with.
It's a form of PTSD.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely PTSD. Because there's certain things that go off and you're like, and, you know, and you say, I've dealt with it, you have, but it still resonates with you, you know, because it's still a part of you.
Right.
And the person that you have to find someone that can understand it. And that can help, not necessarily take you out of it, but nurture the parts of you that need protecting.
Right.
And nurture the parts that need that security. And I think a lot of times that's what especially a woman, that's what she's looking for. Right. Just to feel safe.
And you know, some of the things that I run into though is that people that are survivors of this have not actually told their significant other either what happened.
And you have to be honest. That right there, being able to speak about it, because all it's going to do is eat you up on the inside. But being able to talk about it, and that's the one thing, if you can't talk to your partner about that, that's not your partner. That's not your partner. Because that person should be able to, because a lot of times once they know, they're like, okay, I understand. Okay, she crazy for a reason. Okay. All right, well, what we gonna do? And then you guys can work on something together.
Right.
I mean, that's just my opinion. But I think not to say that person can deliver you, they can't deliver you. You have to do that yourself. And you have to put in the work. Right. And you have to be willing to work on those things and be cognizant. Yeah, cognizant of what is happening to you and paying attention to those small things, those triggers. And if that person tells you, you know what, hey, you flipping out on, think about it. Why am I flipping out on this? Why
Where
is
did
this
stem from?
Yeah, why is this small thing such a big thing? Or why is this big thing overwhelming me? Why am I depressed?
And here's a quick story to that. I had a client that she had to make her bed, had to make her bed, and her husband was like, what is this thing about making your bed? And she would say, on the days that I would make my bed, he wouldn't come in and touch me.
Yep.
And she didn't realize
how that
she didn't realize how that correlated until we pulled it out of her. Like, but why? Why is it that? Well, what was happening? What makes it such a big deal about you making up this bed? And she started trembling, and it's like it's the days he wouldn't come in. He wouldn't come in on those days. So,
and that's why I say everyone is different. Their triggers are so different. for me, like, I don't like to hear that small talk words because that's what I heard and it wasn't true. I mean, whether it was true or not, it was backed up with, now you're going to give me sex. Now I want you to lay here. Now I want you to just be a dummy.
Right.
I don't want to be a dummy. I want to be a participant. I like sex too. I want to be able to enjoy this.
So how did you get to that point of saying, okay, now I enjoy this? Because you said 10 years of celibacy.
10 years.
How did you get to that point of saying, okay, now I know how to healthily enjoy sex?
I don't know. It was, I guess it was that little, well, I didn't have sex with the dog, but I guess it was, it was the little dog. My little Will taught me the love of myself and taught me the love of someone else. That pure, non-conditional love. Because he didn't care what I looked like. You know, he was still like, hey, we're going to feed me. We're going to walk in. Let's go to the car. Let's go to the, you know. And that joker he was overweight. But he was a little, he was supposed to be a little dog, a little toy, but I don't know what happened. But he protected me.
Right.
Let somebody come to the door. You know, my uncle would always say, he just let you know to get your gun. That's all. He can't do anything. He just letting you know, go get your gun.
Might bite him a little bit.
Yeah. he was my protector. And so after that, I realized, you know what? I can enjoy this without having to lay here. And then I can enjoy this without all of that other,
The automatic thoughts.
yes. I can be a willing participant. And I learned how to be a willing participant. Well, I know this is not night dreams, but I learned with myself first.
Right. Hello. Hello.
So I learned what I like by loving myself first.
Right.
And once I learn how to love myself, then I can tell somebody else how I like to be
What
loved.
do I preach all the time, guys?
Yeah,
What do
it's
I preach?
true. I mean, because if you've been in a violated situation, you don't know what you like. You just know what other people have placed on you. That doesn't mean you like looking at penis.
Right.
That doesn't mean you like for it to be in your face. That doesn't mean, I may not like the smell of sweaty balls.
Right. Hello?
But it's in my face. So it's been in my face. So what do I
It
do?
should never be sweaty. Always get that.
It shouldn't, but
Watch that.
you know, things happen. And
Actually, that's actually a fetish. But again, this is not night dreams.
it is.
But
You know, it's one of those things that, you know, you learn what you like, and you ladies, you have to learn yourself.
Absolutely.
Yourself. By yourself.
By yourself. And if you
By
need some
yourself.
help,
Yes,
you
there
know,
are
come
things to
talk to me.
help you to learn yourself. But I mean, I think that's a big part of it too, because people will only put on you what you allow them to put on you.
Absolutely.
And but once you tell them, no, this is what I like, and if they can't accept it, then it's like,
Right.
you know, that's what I like.
Right.
So yeah, that was my big thing. Learn yourself.
Well, I appreciate you coming on my show and telling your story. Y'all, I've been trying to get Patricia on my show for 2 years to talk about this, right?
Years.
And so, you know, I so appreciate your vulnerability and telling your story. And I know that other people will appreciate that as well. If you're watching the replay, you know, #replay, let me know. And honestly, you can reach out to me or Patricia and let us know that you were impacted by this story. And if you want to share and if you want to disclose anything, let us know, because that's what we're here for, you know?
I don't mind talking to people.
Yes. So, but guys, you know, you've been watching Candyology, where we talk about love, sex, and relationships. And you know, this was a serious conversation today, and we'll get lighthearted again in a couple weeks. But I wanted to make sure that this story got out, especially talking about this in the Father's Day month, and this was Men's Month, you know. So, you know, we'll do some more again, because she has more stories, because she done told me about 50,000 stories in this 1 hour that I did not know, right? So we'll be back. But we are wishing you love-filled days, and orgasmic nights. Have a great day.
Good night.